Welcome traders to our post-week market review. So jumping straight into things here, as you know, the initial market open was bullish. Price pushed to around the 3,370 level, where we then found a resistance point. Price then dropped back down, finding a support at 3,357. Price then pushed up to that initial push point of upon market open at around that 3,370 level. Price then started a bearish trend with price creating lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. We then saw a big economic news event that took place due to some speculation around Trump firing Fed Chair Powell, which is a very, very important person in the financial world. So we're not going to take that into account, as it is the effect of some sort of news. So it's not normal price action, it's not normal order flow. So we're going to ignore that and continue on. As you can see, the market did correct itself, and then we created our next lower low. What's interesting from this point onwards is price has begun to flip. So we have been in this bearish mode, or this bearish trend, and then price has begun to flip. And I will go ahead and draw a trend line in for you here, and we will mark in the lower highs, and we'll also do the same for the bottom here, and we'll mark in the lower lows. So as you can see, we do in fact have some sort of trend going on, and we saw price. So this was sort of the last higher high. Price then created its first higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then as you can see, something interesting did happen upon the build up to the London session on our Friday. You can see that price did in fact break structure, with price then finding support just above our level or our point of interest at 3,345. Price then continued on, and the even more interesting part about this is obviously we saw that initial bullish push where we saw price break structure through this last lower high. Price broke the last lower high, indicating to us that we could be seeing some bullish flip. The next confirmation for that bullish flip was obviously price breaking the second to last, or the penultimate lower high, and then price has sort of fizzled out upon New York session, obviously as volume drops, getting closer and closer to the market close on the Friday night at 10 p.m. GMT, and then market is sort of finished where it is now at 3,350. So what does that say to us? So we could potentially be in for a bullish trend, a bullish flip, and a bullish continuation. There's going to be a few confirmations that we're going to look out for in terms of a bullish continuation. So if we are to see a bullish continuation, obviously the main thing that we're going to want to look for is for some sort of level to hold price up as a significant level of support, or as a support. So obviously the first level naturally that we're going to be looking at is that 3,345 level. So what we're expecting or anticipating for price to do is continue on bearish slightly for around another sort of 80 to 100 pips, perhaps come down to test this trend line that we marked in with the lower highs, and then push up off it. If we do see that level of support either found from this point onwards, or we see price come down a little bit and then find its support, there's a few confirmations that we're going to look for price then to continue on bullish, getting closer to that recent all-time high of 3,500. So we're looking for that. So the first confirmation is for price to find a support at a significant point of interest. Once we do that, we're then looking for price to break this recent high here, which is 3,360. Our next confirmation then will be for price to break through this lower time frame level of 3,365, and also the second the second lower high that was created. Once we see that, if we see that, the next and final confirmation that we're going to be looking for is this level of 3,375 to be broken through, which is the initial higher high that then flipped price and turned it bearish. So if we see all of that continue, we're then looking for price to come anywhere into this next point of interest around 3,395. And obviously if price does do that, we'll touch back in on our start of week / midweek technical analysis and re-update. But however, there is definitely still a possibility for a bearish move. This could just sort of be a fake out. This entire sort of last move here could be a fake out. It was the Friday, it was the last day of the market, not a lot was going on, there wasn't a lot of volume within the gold market, so therefore we could just sort of see sort of retail traders just playing out and having a little sort of battle with each other. So if we are to see a bearish continuation from this point onwards, we are going to do the same thing as we did just now for our bullish move and look at the confirmations that we want to take place. So the first confirmation will be for price to break back below sort of this trend line level and below and clear this 3,345 point of interest indicated by this yellow rectangle box. Once we see price do that, we're then going to look for our lower points of interest at around 3,330 and our 3,320 levels. If we see them broken through, the last confirmation that we're going to to be looking for is for price to break through this last lower low. If price does break through that last lower low, then we're going to expect price to come somewhere near to that 3,270 levels. So concluding our post-week market review, overall this week has been bearish. However, we have sort of seen some signs of life for the buyers towards the end of the week on the Friday, having that break of structure and having that new higher high created, invalidating all of this information in terms of continuation of a bearish trend. So I'm really excited to touch back in on our start of week technical analysis. As you know, I'll post that as a write-up sort of nearer to the end of the day once volume has slowed down and we are building closer and closer to that Asian session, and also the midweek technical analysis video where I will cover the Monday, Tuesday and the Wednesday, and we'll go over and we'll touch base again, and we'll reevaluate what has happened in the market and where we could expect price to go from there. So that's going to be our post-week market review. I hope you have all enjoyed. As always, don't forget to hit that like, comment and subscribe button. We really appreciate the support, and I will catch you in the next one.